back door alarm went off, but the door was still locked from the inside. Inhale. Night shift teaches you two things real fast: how to love silence and how to hate it. I was working security at a small distribution warehouse on the edge of town. Nothing glamorous. Mostly checking cameras, logging truck plates, and walking the perimeter every hour so my boss could say we had active patrol. The place smelled like cardboard and cold metal. The lights were always a little too bright, like they didn't trust the dark. Pause. At 2:13 a.m., the back door alarm chirped once, then screamed. I sat up so fast my chair squealed. The monitor wall flashed red. Back exit, forced open. I grabbed my radio. Copy. Back door alarm, I said to nobody. There was no team, just me, a flashlight, and a company policy binder that acted like paper could stop a bad night. I pulled up the camera for the rear hallway. The feed showed the back door perfectly closed. No shaking, no movement, no shadow under it. The panic bar was still in place. The deadbolt indicator, green. Exhale. I thought, okay, faulty sensor, cheap system. It happens. Still, you don't ignore alarms. You do the walk. You show up on camera. You document it. So I took my keys and headed down the main corridor. The warehouse at night sounds different. Every step echoes like you're walking inside a bottle. The ventilation hums in slow waves. And sometimes, when the building settles, you get these soft pops from the walls, like someone tapping from the inside. Short pause. I rounded the corner into the rear hallway. The back door was right there. Metal. Scuffed. A heavy chain latch across the top, like the kind you'd see on a basement door. It was an old upgrade. Someone had gotten spooked years ago and convinced management to add it. I checked the handle. Still locked. I checked the chain. Still latched. Then I saw something that made my throat tighten. The alarm panel next to the door, its little red light was blinking like a heartbeat. That meant the sensor believed the door had been opened. But it hadn't. Inhale. I leaned in and listened. Nothing. No breathing, no footsteps. Just that low warehouse hum. And my own pulse. I reset the alarm, wrote the time in my log, and told myself to stop being dramatic. I walked back to the guard desk with my flashlight held a little higher than usual, like that could change anything. Pause. 2:47 a.m. The alarm went off again. Same one. Same back door. My stomach did that slow drop like an elevator starting. I clicked to the back door camera. The feed froze for half a second, then came back. And this time, the door wasn't fully closed. It was open. Just a crack. A thin black line down the frame, like the building itself had parted its lips to whisper. I stared so hard my eyes watered. Then the door moved. Not a slam. Not a swing. Just a careful widening, like someone on the other side was trying to be polite. Exhale. I grabbed the radio with shaking fingers. Hello? I said into it, even though I knew nobody would answer. If anyone's inside the building, you need to identify yourself. No response. Only that monitor glow. And the slow widening crack of the door on camera. I stood up. And that's when the door stopped moving. It stayed open about 2 inches, like it was waiting for me to come see it in person. Long pause. I didn't want to. Every part of me said call the cops and sit tight. But there's something about being alone on shift. Your brain starts negotiating with fear. It tells you, if you don't check it, you're a coward. If you do check it, you're an idiot. Either way, you lose. So you pick the version that looks brave on paper. I took my flashlight again. This time, I didn't walk fast. I walked slow, quiet, listening for anything that didn't belong. The rear hallway was darker than I remembered. Same lights, same fixtures. Yet it felt like the shadows had thickened. I got to the door. It was closed. Chain latched, handle locked. I froze. I checked the camera feed on my phone because we had that little app that mirrored one camera at a time. The phone showed the door open a crack, but the door in front of me was sealed shut. Inhale. I backed up a step, staring between the real door and the screen, like my eyes could catch the lie mid-blink. I reached out and touched the metal. Cold, solid, real. Then on my phone screen, the door moved again, opening wider. But the real door didn't move. And that's when I understood the worst possible thing. The camera wasn't glitching. It was showing a different moment. Or a different version of the hallway. Pause. I lowered my phone and looked down the long corridor behind me. It stretched to the main warehouse floor. Open space, stacked pallets, rows of shelves. Everything normal. Then my radio crackled. Not a voice, just a burst of static. And something underneath it that sounded like breathing. Slow, controlled inhale. I brought the radio close. The static cleared, and I heard a sound so soft I almost missed it. 3 knocks from the back door. Not loud, not urgent. Careful. Like someone trying not to wake a sleeping house. I stepped toward it and whispered, Who's there? No answer. Then 3 knocks again. Same rhythm, same timing. And my phone buzzed in my other hand with a notification from the alarm system. Back exit, opened. I jerked my eyes to the door. It was still closed. But the chain wasn't tight anymore. It was hanging loose, swaying a little, like it had just been touched. Exhale. My hand hovered over the latch. I didn't open it. I didn't. I'm not that stupid. Instead, I did what every tired night shift worker does when reality starts acting weird. I tried to make it normal. I reset the chain, tugged it twice to make sure it was seated, and I talked to the door like it could hear reason. Systems malfunctioning, I muttered. That's all. I turned away, and my flashlight beam swept across the floor. That's when I saw the wet footprints. Not a trail from outside, not muddy. Wet, clean, like someone had walked through water and stepped onto dry concrete. And the footprints weren't coming in, they were going out. From the back door, toward me. Pause. I stood there holding my breath, staring at those prints like they were words in a language I didn't want to learn. They ended about 2 feet from where I stood. No next step, no scuff. Just stopped, as if whoever made them had lifted off the ground. Inhale. My phone buzzed again. Another alert. Back exit. Closed. I glanced up. The back door's status light on the panel switched from red to green, like the system believed everything was fine now. But the hallway didn't feel fine. It felt watched, like the building had turned its attention to me. I backed away slowly and kept my flashlight pointed at the door. That's when the knob turned. Just a slight twist. Not enough to open it. Just enough to tell me someone, something, was testing it. I stepped back again, heart hammering. The knob turned again, and then very softly. A voice came from the other side, not yelling, not threatening. A calm voice, like someone speaking through a smile. Hey, it said. You can go now. Long pause. My mouth went dry. Who are you? The voice paused as if thinking. Then it said, I'm the one who opens it. Exhale. I didn't run. I should have run. but my legs felt pinned. The chain rattled, and I watched, helpless, as it lifted, just a fraction, as if unseen fingers were sliding it free. I snapped out of it and bolted, straight back to the guard desk, nearly slipping on my own panic. I slammed the office door and locked it, even though the lock was cheap and my hands were shaking so hard I barely got the key in. I pulled up the camera feed again. The back hallway camera was black. No signal, not offline, just black. Like someone had covered the lens from the inside. Inhale. Then a new camera feed popped up on my monitor without me clicking anything. It was the guard desk camera. My camera. Pointed at me, sitting behind the desk. Only on the screen I wasn't alone. Behind my chair, near the office door, there was a darker patch of darkness. A shape standing where the light didn't reach. It leaned closer, and the office door handle in real life began to turn. Pause. My radio crackled one last time. No static this time. Just that same calm voice, now right in my ear. The door opened twice, it said. The second time was for you. Final exhale. I don't work nights anymore, but sometimes when my apartment is quiet and the hallway outside goes still, I hear 3 careful knocks, and I know it's practicing my timing.